Well, there we go then. Many thanks indeed for calling through. I've got a triple maximum attack. That's right, the old Eric Morecambe. Why? A triple maximum attack. Exeter, Plumpton and my own track Leicester are all going to be my targets. And they're 3-win doubles, 3-win singles and a treble. All going on these three horses at Exeter, Plumpton and Leicester on Monday. And I'll give you those in just one moment. And as I say, today is Sunday. And getting this message on nice and early for you, nice and early does it. And then I've also got one bet I want to tell you about at Wolverhampton. I did have 2 bets there, but one of them I got a message for this morning that it hasn't been working as well as they wished it to, and it's not a bet anymore. That's the message. But this one is, and this horse I've got for you is well handicapped, ran well in the Air Gold Cup, ran well last time out. The jockey's been replaced because he got into a bit of a tangle on it at Lingfield. I'll open up with that one in a minute. And then I'll give you these 3 maximum win bets. The maximum bet of the year, which was due to run today, was withdrawn. It doesn't run. Not sure the excuse yet, what's happened there, but it doesn't make a difference what it is. No run and no bet, so no harm done. The previous biggest bet of the year was on Thursday, which absolutely did the business. And there'll be another big bet coming through like that soon this week, I'm pretty sure, where it's going to be all on one job, bump, stick on. But today's bet didn't run, so there's one bet, one non-runner, no harm done, so to speak. But we move on to Monday, big week ahead, and I've got these 3 straight win bets to tell you about, but I'm going to open up with this horse at Wolverhampton that I think could be a little bit too good for these, and it's a decent price, around about 6 to 1. So I'm going to put this on separately. I'm going to have an each-way bet on this, a big solid each-way bet on this, banker each-way material. Can't see it being out of the 3, can see it winning. The other 3, straight on the nose to win. Bazooka, 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 down the line, boom, boom, boom. And 3 singles, 3 doubles and a treble coming up. Okay, so let's start with this first bet, the individual bet in the 6 o'clock at Wolverhampton, trained by a really good trainer who's having the best season ever, and that's Kevin Frost. He's having more winners this year than he's ever had in any previous season, and a very astute trainer, is very underestimated, and if this horse was trained by anyone else, I think it'll be a lot shorter price, that's for sure. Well, the horse is number 2. It's called Documenting. He's had 18 winners this year, Frost, and he's doing a lot with a little. He really is. So he's a good trainer, and I say he's having his best year ever by a mile. And I think this one can add to it. It already added to it when it's won previously off the same mark of 99. The horse is number 2, as I say. It's called Documenting. Ran at Lingfield last time up when young Kieran Fallon rode it and got into a bit of a pickle on it, to be honest with you. And you know, it just got it into a mess, and you can't really afford to do that round Lingfield Park. You can't really afford to do it anywhere. But he was blocked, and you know, he just couldn't get the horse into a position to attack, and he had to suffer defeat gracefully. But he has been replaced on board by Jack Mitchell. Now, I don't know the reasons behind that, but Mitchell rode it in the Air Gold Cup, and he rode it well, 15th of 24. That was a good performance in the Air Gold Cup. It ran a mark of 102 that day, and I tell you, I think Jack Mitchell can ride a winner here. Incidentally, Mitchell did ride it when it won at Newbury off this mark of 99. That was back in the 13th of August. And Newbury, obviously, very, very, very good track, Grade 1 track. And this race at Wolverhampton's nowhere near as strong as that. So it's running off the same mark, got the same jockey back on. A little bit unfortunate last time up, and would have nearly won last time, I think, if Fallon could have got a gap. But he couldn't, and he had to suffer a defeat, as I say. Time before that, it ran really well. Jack Mitchell was on it again, and that was in the Air Gold Cup, the big race there. And there we go. So I think number 2, Documenting, at 6 to 1 to your cash, is a banker each way material. I'll be disappointed if it's not there or thereabouts, and I think it'll be in the frame. So it looks like a real cast iron banker there. Each way number 2, Documenting, your first bet of the week, 6 o'clock at Wolverhampton. Well, I'll say first bet of the week. That's the first win each way bet of the week on the flat. The other bets I've got for you are all over the sticks. They're all straight win bets, and they're all maximums. Big, big, powerful win bets, all right? So these 3 are separate bets. I'm going to have 3 singles, 3 doubles and a treble. Documenting and just backing on its own. I'm not putting it in with the others because they're straight on the nose down the gun barrels. And I think we'll be really unlucky not to get 2 winners out of 3 and possibly all 3, which would be absolutely fabulous. We hit 2 winners out of 3 on, I think it was Thursday, wasn't it? 100 to 30 and 3 to 1. That's when I had the biggest bet of the year, which won as well. So let's see if we can get 2 out of 3 to kickstart the week, or maybe 3 out of 3. That would be really, really lovely. I'd be absolutely delighted with that. Okay, so let's go straight away to my home track. My hometown, Leicester, in the 220 at Leicester, number 5. It's called Never No Trouble, trained by the one and only Donald McCain. Donald having a great season again. He's got this filly, I think, well in off a mark of 91. It's ridden by Peter Kavanagh, who claims £5. And he rode the horse, or the mare, I should say, bless it, last time up when it ran really well. That was at Warwick, 3rd of 11. Good performance that. That was on its handicap debut. The assessor hasn't put it up for that run, and I think that's rather generous because I thought that was a really good performance, to be honest with you. It was out of the weights that day, and I think Never No Trouble's got a marvellous chance, marvellous chance. I mean, the more I look at this race, the more I can't find any opposition. I know there's opposition against it. There's seven horses in the race. There's 6 against it. But for me, I can't. I've looked, and although it's almost 6-4 each or two, I've got to be on it. Never No Trouble, number 5, win in the 220 at Leicester. That's your first bet of the day on the win side of things. The second bet on the win side of things runs at Plumpton, and it goes in there 310. So if you've got your cards ready or your pens and papers, I don't know if anyone uses pens and papers, I do, or do you do it on your notepad or straight on the computer, or you've got a great memory? I write them down anyway, longhand, and then I transfer them to computer later on. Anyway, number 2, Game Line in the 310 at Plumpton. Number 2, Game Line in the 310 at Plumpton is my second bet of the day. Running over his real big long trip is Stamina Sap in 3.5 miles at Plumpton, and I think that's every inch of what Game Line needs to win. Trained by Peter Bone, ridden by his son James. Keep it in the family, as they say. Dropped £2 since its last run, when 2nd of 3 at Cartmel. Didn't seem a great run on paper, but the race didn't enhance a horse who needs its stamina testing, and I think this is going to be much better suited by the trip and possibly the track as well. Cartmel, really difficult track to run, obviously. Number 2, Game Line then, anyway, 310 at Plumpton. Not sure the price that one, could be about 2-1, 9-4. It won't be, it's going to be around that mark, I think. I think it's got an outstanding chance. And still waiting for the prices to come up. I'm just looking now, nothing yet. So we're going to go with it. Anyway, number 2, Game Line. It's a win bet, 310 at Plumpton. It's your second bet of the day. Never No Trouble in the 220 at Leicester was the first bet of the day. Win bets, that is. Which leaves one more to go. Then I'll be back to you at 6 o'clock on Monday night, and that'll be for Tuesday's action. And on Tuesday, there is a distinct possibility of one of my biggest bets of the season, if not the. And it could well be running at Fairy House, I can tell you that. I've also got one message for a horse on the all-weather running at Newcastle, so we'll have to wait and see what pans out and what exactly the messages are overnight coming in about anything else. But plenty of time to think about that. But it's going to be a big message tomorrow night, so it's on Monday night. Don't miss a trick with me then, and I'll tell you all I know, that's for sure. Okay, so the final bet of the day, probably the strongest bet of these 3, even though I'm rating them all maximums, because I'm going to have a big chunk on each of them, that's for sure, and I'm going to put them in some doubles and trebles. It's in the 3 o'clock at Exeter anyway, and the horse I like here is number 1. It's called Master's Legacy, trained by Philip Hobbs, ridden by Michael Nolan, who rides this gelding just about every time and gets on really well with it. Won last time up, and I think it'll win again. Carries a £4 penalty for winning, but as I say, once again, I've looked at the opposition. You've got Paul Nicholls who's got one in there, Mr. Glass. But for me, the proven form of Master's Legacy has got the winner written all over it, and that'll do me. Won on its handicap debut last time up, beat a horse called Sizable Sam. Looks rock solid that, and I think it'll win. Number 1, Master's Legacy, improving type in the 3 o'clock at Exeter. So I'll just run them through once more for you. Master's Legacy, 3 o'clock at Exeter. Game Line for Bowen family there in the 310. And that's at Plumpton. Never No Trouble for Don McCain and Peter Kavanagh in the 220 at Leicester. And don't forget that one, number 2, Documenting for Kevin Frost. Very unfashionable trainer, but very good trainer, a very astute trainer indeed. 6 o'clock at Wolverhampton. That's it from me to you, as the Beatles said. And we've got a big message. Look behind me on my shoulder. The lovely Josephine's arrived. She used to always be in my videos in my old house. And now she's made her way upstairs to keep me company, and it's great to have her with me. I'll be back with you at 6 o'clock on Monday night. We'll be frying tonight for Tuesday. Have a great day.